Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about how to make Google Forms in a classroom, especially a math classroom. And I use this every day so that I don't print as many papers, and also I get instant feedback from my students, and also they do as well. So here's a Google form that I have made in the past. So the way you start is you're going to click on New. You want more features if it's not listed there, and Google Forms. There's this right arrow, and they give you the chance to start from a template. I don't ever use that. I just do a blank form. So I'm going to go ahead and title this. You can title it whatever your topic is. I'm basically just going to do a Google form with this problem and show you how I put it in there. So Unit 1 review. I'm going to click on this so that when I go into my drive, it'll be labeled. If you don't have that, then you're going to have like 50 untitled forms in your drive, and it's going to be hard to find them. So I just tend to click that, or I change the name of it if I want to. And so then I'll click the most important question. I know it's I didn't even think about this the first time, but you want to have first and last name as an option here, because if you don't, then you're going to have however many students you have fill out the form, you'll have all their responses in form of their username, which is their student ID number, which is really annoying to try to figure out. So I always write this as my first question, first and last name, and I make it a required question. And it is a short answer text. These are the different types. I'm just showing you short answer today, but there are these options that I can show you later if you like. So the next one, this is up to you. This is optional. You can write which class period the student is in. You can do this. It helps when you're looking at an Excel spreadsheet and you want to look at all your third period or your fourth period students. It's easier to organize it that way, but it's up to you. You don't need to. And again, I make this a required question. So we're going to start off with, I'm going to show you how to embed a picture in here. So if you have a worksheet and you really like a problem, you can always snag your picture. You can take a screenshot the image, or you can, what I normally do is I rewrite the question in a Google Doc, or not a Google Doc, sorry, a Word document, and I change the font and I put like a border around it. You don't need to do this stuff. I just do it just so I like to format things like that. But if you already have a question that you already like, you can just snag a picture and then put it on your Google form. So I'm going to click print screen, and I'm going to go ahead and just snag this part. And I press the screen capture button, and I'm going to, okay, so I kind of did this already, but I'm going to save as and go to pictures, and you'll see that something's already there. I tend to just write image 1, and then, well, in this case, since I'll just keep it as image 1, and I save it. Yes. And that's just the way I do it. I haven't found another way to do it, but that's what's been working for me. So I save it as image 1, or you can just put the number 1, or you can label it if you want to, but I don't need to see it anymore after this, after I try to find it in my file. So this was the Google Doc or Google form that we started. And so the question on it is evaluate. So this button right here has, you click on it, and I'm going to upload an image from my computer. I like the search option when it comes to trying to find graphs, like functions or parabolas or that stuff. But I use that function later on. But I'm going to choose an image, and if you click on pictures, it should be wherever you named it, and you click on it and you open it. And it takes a couple seconds for it to load. And there it is. So you can definitely change the alignment of this. I like it in the center. And notice right now it's a multiple choice question. I want to change that to a short answer because some of the students will have to type in their answers on assessment. So this helps them with that practice. And now we're going to make this into a quiz because right now, if I were to preview this and give it to my students, they wouldn't get the correct answer. They wouldn't get that feedback. So in order to do that, you have to click this settings option, and we're going to go to quizzes, and we're going to make this a quiz. This forces the Google form to grade it for you, so you don't have to do that on your own. And you can decide if you want to allow kids to see their grades immediately or later. You have to manually do this. I sometimes use this feature when I have kids that I've noticed that they kind of wait for their friends to submit so that they can see their answers. But it's up to you. It's whatever you want to. Or like if you have a quiz and you don't want them to see their grade immediately, I would definitely click that because you would have to look at the quizzes and then have everyone submit. But yeah, that's the only time I would really use that. And then you can allow respondents to see the missed questions, the correct answers, or point values. Sometimes I uncheck this because if I have students who, they look at their partner or the person next to them and I release the questions with the answers, they'll tend to look at that and type their answer in. But yeah, that's just, it's preference. Another thing you can do is you can allow kids or students to after they submit. They can see the text charts or the summary charts and text responses if you want. I don't ever really do that. Limit to one response. This would be like a test or a quiz if you want to use this as if you want to use the Google form. And then the presentation, you can shuffle the questions. If you're going to shuffle the questions, it may also shuffle the questions where it comes to first and last name and the class period. So that's a little tricky. Right now, let's just keep it all basic. And you want to save that. And you'll see that this is added into the form, total points. So when I go down to that question and I click on it, it says here answer key. This is how you're going to tell the Google form what the correct answer is. I'm going to make this point. Kids can know that that's what the question's worth. And the correct answer for this problem is 16. So add a correct answer. So I'm going to type in 16. If you use a Google form for equations, you can have 16 or x equals 16. I know this is an expression, but if you were an equation, sometimes kids will write x equals the value. I always tell my kids, don't capitalize the x and don't put any spaces because that, unlike eCart, Google form doesn't do that. It will mark it wrong if kids write the capital X and equals 16. It just doesn't know how to understand that that's the same thing. So just for reference, if you decide to use equations with Google Forms. And then I'm going to click mark all other answers incorrect because if students write -16 or 8 or any other number, obviously it's not correct. And if you want to add feedback, you can. It's up to you. So click edit question again just to go back to this. And you can make it a requirement. You don't need to, but in this case you can. But that's how I incorporate questions into my Google Forms. And if you want to know how to put a banner on, you can keep watching. If not, that's the basics. You can go ahead and try to add more questions. You can add an image or even a YouTube video if you want. In the end, you can do that. But that is it for this video. Now, if you want to keep watching and learn how to change the format or the header, I can show you right now. You want to click on this, the customized theme symbol, and the header, you can choose from all these images here. And sometimes I tend to stick to illustrations, yeah. So I change the heading based on like if there's a holiday or the season. There's different images here for you and some of them move pretty cool. I don't know if I can find one. But yeah, you can click on it. So I can click on the 4 leaf clovers if I want. and you can change the theme background. That doesn't really do anything. Oh, right here. I can change the background of the image or the form itself. If you don't want that, you can go back and you can easily change it. So let's see. Let me go to, let's probably not put that one on. Let's do this one. And you can see that the themes change. You can change the font. I normally don't really go with the formal or decorative fonts. They are kind of, if kids are using their phones, it's kind of hard to see. I use basic or playful. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you create a Google form, and I can show you what it looks like once it's complete. You know, if you put in your Google Classroom and you want to see what how your students responded, this is like a bar chart or bar graph, sorry, that shows all the points, like how many students received 1 point, how many of them received like 100%. I tend to show this to my students so that they can see how we're doing overall and where we need to, if this topic is something we need to work on. And I talk about normal distribution, which is, it's up to you if you want to do that, and bell curves and all that. And then it tells you the frequently missed question so that you can talk about it. Be like, hey, 25 of you got this wrong. Let's talk about it. Let me scroll down so you can see the rest. I don't want to show you some of these are students in the cat. So here is just a snapshot of what my students did with this particular question. 34 of them wrote the number 16, and the next highest number was they typed in -2. So you can have a discussion or try to have someone explain how do you get -2, where do they go wrong, so you can have a data dialogue with your kids, which is something I strongly encourage. And then this is just what it would be if you had fill in the blanks. If you had multiple choice, it'll tell you how many kids chose A, how many chose B, and all that stuff. It's kind of like eCart, but just in case eCart is down or you want to do more with the questions and personalize it more, you can use Google Forms. But yeah, that's how you make a Google form. Hopefully this has helped you. Let me know if you have any questions.